All right, we're rolling. All right, welcome back, friends. Happy January 7th, 2024. This is episode 5 of Full Metal Reviews here on Cast Metal. I'm Terry. I am your host and the creator of this show. And Full Metal Reviews is where I connect bands with their fans every day using my Apple Music service. Now, a couple of things. This is only episode 5, and everything I've done so far is a little wee bit on the quick and dirty side as I'm working toward giving 3 reviews a day. So far, I've only managed over the last 4 episodes to put in one review a day. But today, I believe I have it down pat. I'm going to do 3 complete reviews today. I think that you guys will enjoy it. Made some improvements. I'm no longer doing vertical videos, which I did in the last ones. I'm finding that these ones here, the regular YouTube format, 16 by 9, are going to be an improvement. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So, first off, guys, I love metal music. Quite frankly, the more extreme in most cases, the better. And well, sometimes when I review music, I've been finding that I really could use a couple of familiar favorites afterwards. So I'm going to pick 3 albums right now that I'm going to listen to at the conclusion of this video when I upload it for you guys. So I think I'm going to try some Aviana. I think I'm also going to try, I'm not even going to try, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do some Crown Magnetar. I haven't listened to them in about a couple of weeks. And I think maybe I'm going to try some more Spirit Box. Yeah, I'm going to go the other way a little wee bit, do some Femme Fatale stuff. All right, yeah, that sounds about right. All right, so let's start the Full Metal Review show. All right, our first band, Health. Rat Wars, everybody. All right, this album here was released in mid-December, and it's still high up on the list in Apple Music. So I did a quick bio, and Health is described as an industrial band from Los Angeles, USA. They've been around the scene since 2005 in the electronic industrial music scene. To date, they have 7 albums, and now, today, to be honest with you, I'm hoping to become a loyal fan of theirs as well. I've never heard of the band Health before until today. All right, so I did manage to garner up the necessary stuff to do all 3 reviews today. So I'm going to give it a try. It's my first try. And all right, so not only are we going to interview Health, but we're going to take an in-depth look at 2 more extreme metal albums, and they were released, one in December 23 and one just this Friday. So how it works, everybody, is first every Sunday from the metal category on Apple Music, I catalog all of the newest albums of the week onto a database, and then I post them to my Metal Magazine Facebook page. Secondly, I review 3 albums per day. That's the hope. And it's from that list. I'm looking for more new music for my own library. And then, of course, I make this video for you guys. So I do have rules to this game, everybody. The rules, number 1, I keep my reviews very short. And I also keep them very positive. 2, not everything I listen to is to my taste, but I won't knowingly badmouth anyone's work because, quite frankly, I am not a musician of any kind. I can't sing. I don't play guitar or anything. I'm simply a fan. And who am I to judge, right? So, all right, let's go, everybody, with Rat Wars. All right, so before I listen to the album, I do an overview check, a first impressions check, and I'll explain my rules as I go along. Note, whatever the outcome of this review, everybody remember that these artists, all of them, are worthy of you giving your time to them, to give them at least one chance. So my job here is to introduce you, and secondary, you know what, just for entertainment purposes, I do these reviews. So Overview. As I opened the page, I saw that there were 12 heavy looking tracks, okay, for Rat Wars from the band Health. And quite frankly, they spell fun all over it. So if the album cover matches the band name, I should be in for something really good. In Apple, they are categorized as alternative, but they were in the metal section. So I said, yeah, why not? So my first impressions check, before I played the album, I tried to visualize the outcome every time. I always try to keep it positive, but in this case, I think that I'm in for something good. And I'm thinking at least some category of metal, because I find that when Apple categorizes things, they're usually off a little wee bit. The album cover, as everyone can see, is just black and white with, I would imagine, electrical cables on it and a list of all of the songs that are actually on it. So as I move forward, everybody, I use 9 different categories and rules or criteria to describe what each album sounds like, and I keep it very simple, okay, just 3 words or a brief sentence or whatever. All right, so let's go. So the recording and sound quality, number 1, okay, it was superb. It was big, full, and clear. These guys know what they're doing. Obviously, they have good technicians. The bass, the treble, the mids are very, 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 very full. They know what they were doing. Production musicality, number 2, refined and quite breathtaking, actually. The energy or intensity, the energy certainly was there, and the album is just intense in perfect proportions. It's a really terrific story, the way things flow and go up and down. The rhythm tempo, in one word, it's very satisfying. This is a very good album. Lyrical theme, surprisingly smooth, deep, and chilling, but he had an unexpected pop voice, almost in the same style as Pet Shop Boys. Ultimately, I did make a note, though, that they sound a lot like New Order, okay, but heavier, way heavier. Genre critique, as I listened to the album, sure, they are alternative, but they are also like industrial or noise metal. Could they go mainstream? Without a doubt, of course. The range and flow and layout of each track on the album itself rises and crests just like the ocean, and there's huge power in that. Who are they similar to? If you're a fan of Nine Inch Nails, maybe Depeche Mode, New Order, I think that's probably where that is. But also too, they're very heavy as well. The guitaring, you will find that if you decide that you want to listen to this. All right, so next is a breakdown of each track, and to manage time, I just use track numbers. I don't go with the titles or anything like that, okay? I don't want to mispronounce anything. That's a courtesy to our European bands who I can't pronounce for the life of me some of the stuff. And basically, I also only review the first 10 tracks. So if there's 11 or 12 or more tracks, I will leave that up to you guys to listen to the album yourself. So track number 1, the sound is absolutely huge. Rammstein huge, as a matter of fact. It was Goosebump City. Track number 2, definitely that 9 Inch Nails type sound, but very clean. Track number 3, the epitome rather of industrial. You could actually club to this track. This is techno style stuff. Track number 4, it just goes deeper than the last one. Track number 5, I described it as thunderous and deep. Track number 6, I described as epic and sensual. Actually, if you are together with your favorite person, you guys might find yourself holding hands, if you know what I mean, and more. Track number 7, okay, I got a KMF DM vibe. It was very refreshing, actually. KMF DM is an industrial band out of Europe, predominantly in the 90s. A lot of people like them. Very rhythmic, very heavy beats. Track number 8, deep, rhythmic, and soothing. Track number 9, it's more like pop with lots of synth. Another Nine Inch Nails Pet Shop Boys feel, if I could describe it like that. Track number 10, it's an instrumental, an acoustic continuation of the last song. And no more secrets, but there is one more track on there, and I will say that it was very good as well, but it's up to you to do your thing and listen to it. So next, I also noted observations for both vocals and individual instruments. So here's my scoop on that. The singing and vocalizations, I described it, it's an 80s sounding techno pop vocal. That's what this guy, I think, is going for. The group New Order, predominant in the 80s, comes to mind. Now that I, as I rolled along a little wee bit further into the review. The guitars are excellent, very, very heavy on rhythm. If you like rhythm, it's going to be a good album for you. Bass guitar, guys, just wow. Prominent feature on this album is the bass guitar, is very deep. The drums and percussion, it's got that electronic industrial tempo, and it just works really well with the recording. There's no lack of bass in the recording, and I think you guys might enjoy that. Additional sounds, masterful use of synthesizer and sampling gear. Okay, all the way through the album. It rolls again like an ocean. It's good stuff. So in summary, from the first impression I had from the album cover to the end of the album, I was surprised. I wasn't expecting a journey back into the mid-90s or even the 80s when industrial stuff like Nine Inch Nails and Rammstein were actually big. My favorite tracks, track 1, just super powerful. First impression is very important. It just made me want more, and the more I got into it, well, quite frankly, every track is very worthy. I think that you will agree if you listen to it. Emotionally, chills and goosebumps factor, epic chills. Okay, there was some really good stuff in there. Flavors, well, this album is, quite frankly, not food. I went straight to the dessert menu on this one. And the tonality or shade of the music, it's massively dark, mostly. If I had to describe it in colors, red and yellow energy, lots and lots of energy. Be careful, actually, if you're driving with this playing, you might find yourself speeding a little wee bit. The temperature, I describe it as cold as ice. This album is just beautiful and cold all the way through it. Will I hide it from my wife? No, she will approve. Probably get mad if I don't play it once in a while. I think she'll like it. And finally, is it going into my library? Absolutely. Yeah, at least for the time being. It is a nice change. It's, quite frankly, this is the type of stuff I want to listen to on Sundays once in a while. And yeah, it just has absolutely beautiful rhythms. So, and that is it for Health and the album Rat Wars. Okay, so what do we have next? All right, so secondly, I have the new album. It actually just was released this Friday. And the album is called God is Violence, and the band is called Cancer Christ. I have no information, but it seems they only have one full-length album. And the album has 20 tracks, but it's only 26 minutes in length. A lot of these samples are only 20 seconds to maybe, I think, a little over 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes. Straight up with no sugarcoating anything. These guys are the epitome of anger, okay, to be very frank with you. Some of you will obviously enjoy that kind of thing. But before I listened to the album, I did an overview check, a first impressions check, and I'll explain the rules again. Note, guys, whatever the outcome of my review, remember that the artists are worthy of you giving them a chance, okay? So, in overview, as I opened the page, I saw that there were 20 tracks that spell religious anger all over it. You will see that the tracks are almost unmentionable here if I'm trying to keep this program PG, if you know what I mean. I figured if the album cover itself matches the band name, I'm in for some type of lyrical meltdown situation. So, my first impression before I played the album, I tried to visualize the outcome, and I always try to keep it positive. But in this case, I think that I'm in for something that I'm doubtful of. To be frank with you, I'm thinking of grindcore or some kind of extreme punk. So as we moved along, I did find out. So my criteria is, again, I use 9 different categories, everybody. So let's go with that. And so the recording and the sound quality, quite frankly, was not, I didn't like it too much. It was very shrill, dirty, very staticky, if I had to describe it. Very loud, as a matter of fact. A lot of people actually, they like that kind of thing. So, just because it wasn't for me, then it doesn't mean that it's not for you. The production and the musicality is very raw, very, very raw, bloody raw. The energy and intensity, I rated it as, it's just pure anger, guys. I had white knuckles through this ride, and I did listen to all 26 minutes of it, I promise. The rhythm and the tempo, it's very diverse. It's very all over the place. Kind of like the Chili Peppers. You just don't know where they're going. The lyrical theme, surfer punk on steroids, is what I described it. And as far as the genre, well, Apple categorizes this as metal, but I think it's punk. It's very extreme punk and grindcore. Could they go mainstream? The potential, absolutely. I don't think that that's where they're heading at all. So the range, flow, and the layout, well, there's no discernible flow from song to song in an instrumental sense, but there's like political sound bites that are within there between some of the tracks, and it seemed to have kept everything relatively tight. So now this one here is very important. Who do I find that they are similar to? And I'm going to be very frank with you. They are very angry. And they are, I wrote that they are quite compatible with something like Gigi Allen or Seth Putnam, also known from the band ANALCUNT. And that's who comes to mind, okay, without sounding it out too much. Now, I didn't do track by track because, quite frankly, all of the songs were very, very short, and the album was short. It was only 26 minutes. I did get a chance to listen to the entire album and conclude that all of the songs that are in there are of equal intensity. They are extreme punk. They are extreme grindcore. They are extremely angry. During listening, the individual performance from each band member, all right, so the singing and the vocalizations were just stinging, angry, politically and religiously motivated. The guitars, well, there were some thrash elements in there, I do have to say, but lots of distortion. The bass guitar was very crunchy and bright. The drums, or the drummer, very fast and furious, and I did like the drumming, to be quite frank with you. Additional sounds, again, lots of simulated sound bites and clips from simulated historical newscasts, if I had to describe it. So then, of course, here's my summary, everybody. In summary, from the first impression I had from the album cover to the end, look at that, I didn't even, there's the album cover, by the way. Probably befitting that I didn't switch it over anyway. As you can see, it's a picture of what seems to be somebody like Jesus Christ committing suicide, so it's not that good. Quite frankly, emotionally, well, chills, goosebumps factor, no, I just didn't feel it, to be honest with you. The tonality, the shade, light or dark? Well, it's very dark, of course. If I had to name a color, it would be black. The temperature is very cold. Hide it from my wife factor? Yeah, pretty much. Is it going to go into my library? No, but the musicianship is quite good. I will give them that. And because there was a lack of like rhythm, I will take on anything with any lyrics, no matter how vile or whatever. If the actual music is good, or because I'm a rhythm guy, that's what I go for. So, yeah, and that is it for Cancer Christ. And the album is called God is Violence. All right, so let's move along here to our next album review. This band, okay, Ektomorf. Now, I have something to tell everybody. So I'd never heard of this band before, but they've been around since 1994. From time to time, you'll see me caught with my pants down. And the last time I was embarrassed like this was in 2019 when I discovered Strapping Young Lad, who'd been out of commission since 2006 at that time. So, shame on me. I own it. Ektomorf hails from Hungary, and they are described online as a groove or new metal outfit with 16 albums, and starting all the way back in 1996, but they were formed in 1994 from Hungary. I can't believe it. So, moving forward, so before listening to the album, of course, I did my overview and first impressions check, and I'll explain the rules. Again, whatever the outcome of this review, remember that these artists are, they need you to listen to them and give them a chance, and that's what I'm here for. So let's get started. Okay, so an overview. As I opened the page, I saw there were 10 tracks, and they were actually tasty looking tracks. And of course, the album cover, we have a black and red demonic face. That was very well done, by the way. The album cover versus the song titles were very deceptive. So my first impression before I played the album, I tried my very best to visualize the outcome, and I always try to keep it positive. Right now, when I'm looking at this, I think that I'm in for something good. I was hoping for something metalcore or deathcore, but of course, they describe themselves as groove and new metal. So the rules, 9 different categories. You guys know that already. So let's go. All right, the recording and the sound quality, guys, for Ektomorf, Vivid Black, top notch. Okay, the recording, the sound engineers, they really knew what they were doing. Obviously, they have a full studio type thing happening, and this is a very, very good, clean, and powerful recording. The production and musicality, it was very refined. Very refined. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a producer or anything like that. The energy and the intensity was monstrous. It was great. The rhythm and the tempo, tons and tons of rhythm and tempo. The lyrical theme. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. I was stunned because the lead singer, at least throughout this album, I don't know about their other 15 albums, I swear to God, I thought it was Corey Taylor from Slipknot. He was pretty good. I liked it. So, Apple categorizes this as metal, and they are, well, it's fair enough. It's new and groove metal. I thought, quite frankly, metalcore, but new and groove metal is where they are. So, could they go mainstream? A few of the songs that were on here, sure. I think that they could definitely do that. The range and the flow and the layout of the album itself, one song after the other, guys. One song after the other. It was just, honestly, I couldn't get enough. It's definitely going to be, a very big album for me. Who are they similar to? Quite frankly, Slipknot. I sensed a little wee bit of Five Finger Death Punch with these guys, but really just a pinch. Okay. So moving right along, next I broke down each track just to manage time. I only did 10 tracks. I only do rather 10 tracks, but there were only 10 tracks, as a matter of fact, on this entire album. So in description, track number 1 is just thunder right out of the hole. Track number 2, I could honestly see the circle pit catching fire right about now. Track number 3, it's a killer track, but actually it's a bit too short. It's only about 2.5 minutes. I could have used an extra minute, to be honest with you. Track number 4, even better than the last. Very super intense rhythm. Track number 5 was actually mainstream worthy. That's the one that I told you about. I sensed a little bit of Five Finger Death Punch flavoring in there, but don't worry, it's actually heavier than Five Finger Death Punch. Track number 6, believe it or not, it literally reminded me of Slipknot's Iowa album. I don't know which track, but it had some of that happening in there. Very heavy stuff. Track number 7 is the title track. It's an absolute banger, to say the least. It's deep and heavy. It's really nice. And track number 8, you know what? I could see the pit lighting up again. Circle pit. Sounded a little wee bit like Before I Forget by Slipknot. In small doses, though. It's not the same song. Trust me. Track number 10, quite frankly, speechless. After you've heard 9 songs and they are all good, it's just, I'm sitting there with my jaw hung open. It was that good. Track number 10, the final track. It was really good. It sounded like a bad dream. It was very haunting with real epic power as it picked up. Guys, there was not one single snoozer. It was equal intensity right through. It built up even more. Quite frankly, if there's such thing as a perfect or a near perfect album, this might be it. And I'm still kind of embarrassed a little wee bit. So next, I also noted observations for both the vocalists and the individual instruments, each band member and their part. So the singing and vocalizations, quite frankly, I literally thought it was Corey Taylor lending his vocals to this band. But the thing is that this album sounded like old Slipknot, like from the first 2 albums. The guitars, obviously clean and very heavy. Not the same thing as Slipknot at all. Bass guitar, big, clean, and very crunchy bass. Drums and percussion, nothing lacking whatsoever. Just big ass smash face sounding drums, and it's terrific stuff. Lots of bass. Additional sounds, they didn't use a whole lot of sampling. I sensed just a little wee sprinkle here and there. And quite frankly, they are more rhythmic than Slipknot. So what an absolute pleasure to review this album. Ektomorf, Vivid Black, guys. So here comes the summary. So I wrote in summary from the first impression I had from the album cover to the end of the album review. I was surprised because the Black Demon album cover versus the song titles were hardly a match. I was very surprised. My favorite track or tracks, I'd have to say the first track was the heaviest hitting. It was very explosive. It's all about the first impression. But truthfully, every track is as good as the next. And that's very, very super rare. I think that whoever, if you're a fan of what I'm describing right now, I think you're in for a good ride. Emotionally, chills, goosebumps. Yeah, clenched, sweaty fist check all the way through, and waves of energy right through to the toes and right to the very end of the album, guys. And the flavors, well, it's got to be my favorite food, to be honest with you. It's burgers and fries. That's what these guys sound like. Tonality shades, light or dark? I'd say a mix of light and dark, because there's stuff in there that make you smile and there's stuff in there that make you go deep. So, and of course the coloring, if I had to describe this in one color, it would be red hot. Temperature, hot and cold. Well, neither one actually, but it did give me a warm and fuzzy feeling all the way through. Hide it from my wife factor? Absolutely not. I wouldn't hide this from anyone, to be quite frank with you. And finally, is it going into my library? Duh, of course. Yeah, it's probably going to be in my rotation for a little while too. So as a matter of fact, I might listen to it right after we're done. That's the way I'm feeling. So anyway, hey, that's it for today, everybody. And I want to thank you guys for joining me and sticking with me. I'm still ironing out bugs. I'm still what I would consider in beta mode, still feeling things through. This is only episode 5. So join us again tomorrow for another episode of Full Metal Reviews. And finally, don't forget, please, to subscribe, engage, and follow the links. And remember to support your favorite local metal artists. Stream them often. Buy the merch. Go see them live. And we will see you soon. Cheers.